It was only a month ago. The Philadelphia Phillies, they won 6 games in a row. It was unbelievable. But now, oh my, what's happened to this team? They just had their worst May in 89 years. Ah, what happened? Philadelphia Phillies baseball talk on the Bitter Birds. Tony Del Grosso, Kyle Gaffner, both here. I'm Adrian Fedke. Maybe we'll get 20 views.
Possibly. I hope we do. Is there much to talk about this team, though? I mean, are we even going to get 20 wins this year, guys? But by the looks of it, it doesn't look like it.
I mean, would 20 views be higher or lower than what the Phillies are pulling in for their viewership right now per game? That's the question.
I'll run through the Nuggets. In May, they went 6-22. Oh my God! First month with 6 or fewer wins since June of 1997. 17-34 record. Franchise's worst start through 51 games since 1945. Outscored in the month 163-99. They've lost 25 of their last 31 games. It is a shit show right now. So, what do you guys think? What's the biggest problem on this team right now? What are you guys looking at?
Got to be the pitching. You got to touch on that. Going from what we saw last year, which was some bright spots from our young pitching staff, to what we see before us now. The bullpen was supposed to be the strength, not looking so good. But can you really blame them when they're being kind of overworked? I don't know. But you expected to see a rise, not a decline. And we're going backwards, guys, instead of going forwards.
Yeah, the problem is they're just not good enough, plain and simple. Like Kyle said, the most disturbing part is there was a handful of guys you were looking to see improvement on this year, and for the most part, those handful of guys have all taken a step back, which is weird. But it's really, you look at this team 3 years from now, there might only be 2 or 3 guys on this current roster that are still here. And at most, you're probably only talking 5 or 6. So, I mean, this crew is a 4A squad right now, and honestly, if Lehigh Valley played them in a best of 7, pretty sure Lehigh Valley would win.
Definitely.
I mean, it's
I would love
on the same token. Didn't Lehigh Valley almost have like the opposite record? Didn't they go like 22-6 or 23? They only lost a handful of games.
They were on fire. They look incredible. They're more fun to watch than this team.
Absolutely. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, the two guys for me, Jared Eichhoff and Vince Velasquez. I thought Eichhoff was going to be consistent this year. I thought he was just going to be what he was last year. This year again, Velasquez. I was looking at the control this year. I wanted to see him, kind of go 5 instead of going 5 to 6 innings to start. I want to see you go 6, 7, 8 maybe. But walks are still going. It's still a high pitch counts. His ERA's up. He's trying to work on those secondary pitches. And I'll tell you what, Rand, I mean, you want to continue to walk people. You want to continue to work high pitch counts. You're going to be a bullpen guy. So you're not even going to be a starter. What are you guys' thoughts on Velasquez, man? This is a little concerning to me, what I'm seeing. And now he's on the DL, obviously.
It's concerning, one, because of the injuries. That was the biggest red flag when we acquired him with the Astros when we traded Ken Giles. Okay, so that was there already. He did get hurt yesterday, but with the high pitch count thing, he's not even making it to 5 innings anymore.
Yeah.
2.5 innings, and this guy's already got 60-some pitches. It's very concerning. Who do you blame? Do you blame Bob McClure? Is it the mechanics of Vincent Velasquez? Who's going to get the fingers pointed at them? And at this point, I don't know if he is going to be the starting pitcher. And it looks like we didn't really win out on that trade with Ken Giles now.
I hate to echo something that Kurt Schilling said on the radio earlier today, but Vince Velasquez looks exactly the same as he did last year. And that's the most concerning thing. He hasn't improved in anything. I mean, I would still give him at least this year and probably next year to figure things out. But if not, then, yeah, he's going in the bullpen for sure, where you would think he could be an awfully good reliever. But McClure, I'll say this. I think before Hoskins gets called up, before Kingery, before really any of the guys that we're probably going to mention in the next couple minutes get called up, I I think we could see McClure gone before anything because he'll be the sacrificial lamb. The fans want blood right now. Everyone's pissed off. But in reality, there's really only two guys that they could call up in Hoskins and Kingery, and Hoskins isn't getting called up because of Tommy Joseph, and Kingery is just getting his feet wet in AAA. So it's probably going to be the same crew for at least the next 2 months. So they're going to have to do something to appease the fans.
A question here, Tony, for you. Go ahead. I thought you were done.
No, that's it.
Do you think it's really what you would call with Clentac snake bitten by not trying to acquire better arms in all the trade that we've done? If you look at the guys that we have, none of these guys are start of the line pitchers. They're not aces. You could really say that we have most of the guys that we've acquired are like third and down starting pitching. Yeah,
to me, I think maybe right now the biggest flaw or critique for Clentac that you could say is, and let's not forget he wasn't the head of all those trades. Some of that was Morrow still, but he almost kind of went with a quantity over quality theory, and he kind of just said, well, let's acquire a number of pitchers we think have, at least an okay ceiling. And if we know some of them aren't going to pan out, we think some of them will. Let's see what happens. Instead of, if you kind of look at more of what, Houston did and what Chicago did, they targeted specific elite level prospects. The Chris Bryants, the Carlos Correas, guys like that, guys, the Corey Seagers with the Dodgers, guys like that who you could really build a franchise around. And that's another thing that the Phillies certainly don't have. Maybe Hoskins could become that guy, but they don't have an elite level superstar right now.
And what's funny is that Clentac, when he got the job, his main focus was, I want to get arms in here. Arms win championships. Pitching, but yet he didn't go after an elite level pitcher.
Right. He got arms. He just didn't seem to get good arms. That's the key. Anybody could acquire players. It's about acquiring good players.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll see. And a lot of, all these guys we're talking about are still young. So you still got to give them time. And again, we're talking about 2 months here. It's too bad.
And the guy out of that trade that might be the best is Tom Eshelman out of that Ken Giles trade. I know Vincent Velasquez was on the fence about him being acquired in that trade, but we really wanted him. But Tom Eshelman might be the best pitching prospect out of that trade.
Yeah, I agree. Eshelman, unlike Velasquez, has shown really good control. And that's in the minor leagues. And I would like to see him get a shot eventually this year, for sure.
And the guy we took out of the trade real quick, instead of getting Velasquez, was an outfield, even though we have a slew of outfielders, was Fisher, who's batting, might I add, like 353 with his respective club right now. So it would really be nice to kind of insert a little bit of strength at the bat if we had acquired Fisher instead of Vincent Velasquez. So that might come back to bite us too.
All right, so a point I wanted to make was this, because I know before the season, some Phillies fans, they kind of had their hopes up. Not that they were going to go anywhere or anything, but a point that I was continually making was, I kept going back to last year and the fact that, well, the Phillies, they went 71 and 91, but their run differential was the worst in the league. They were the best in baseball in winning one-run games. So basically, the luck wasn't going to, keep presenting itself this year. The luck was going to run out. It was eventually going to kind of average itself out, and we're kind of seeing that now. And now I think we're really seeing what this team really is. This team is the same team as last year, basically, except it's the record's finally averaging out, equaling out. I think. What do you guys think of that?
And the pitching staff started off better last year and then kind of tapered down. It just looks like they started off where they left off last year. There's no improvement. And they looked a little better in spring training, so it kind of gave you high hopes and it looked like we were going to have a little bit better season, like a bright future. But I don't know. I guess they just left all that down in Clearwater.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that a team that only won 77 games actually outperformed themselves. But that's what they did last year. They should have lost close to 100. yeah, it's just sad and concerning that there hasn't been any improvement really from anyone. The only guy that you could even consider that's made some improvement as, I guess, Cesar Hernandez, or if you consider Aaron Altair, but Altair didn't really get a shot last year, so.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, this is where I'm going to let you guys debate about Michael Franco. Obviously, what's he hitting? 215. So the batting average is down. People are asking or wondering maybe he'll get demoted to AAA. So that's where I'm going to let you guys put on the boxing gloves and debate a little bit. I know Tony wants to keep him on the roster, and Kyle is thinking about sending him to AAA. So I'll let you two go and battle it out.
I have to say you have to send this guy down. If you look at it, he really has nobody knocking at the door to really pressure him into playing better. So he kind of feels like that he has leeway a little bit. And I feel like this has got to be a move for Pete Mackanin to be a hard-nosed coach and show him what's what, to light a fire under this guy. Because if they're not, why should he go out and improve? You would hope to think as a player that he wants to improve and do better and be a franchise guy here in Philadelphia. But if he doesn't, this is what the problem with Ryan Sandberg was. He was just a doormat. He just walked all over him. He was just kind of a soft-spoken guy. And this is a chance for Pete Mackanin to come in here and demote this bum and make him play and earn this position. Because we could bring up somebody from AA or AAA. You could put Scott Kingery there if you want up at third base. But imagine how much of a fire that would light under him if a guy from AA just took his job.
Love the passion. Okay, here's the thing. I disagree, but I don't think any of that is dumb logic. That all makes sense to me, and I get it. But here's my thing with all that. Basically, I think Franco is established enough at this point where, I mean, this is his second and a half full season, I guess you could say, where he's he needs confidence more than anything. And I don't think, so, say you send him down to AAA for a month and he smacks the ball around the field. I don't think that's really going to make him any more confident because he knows those are AAA pitchers. And he knows at this point, he's not dumb. He knows the difference between AAA and the major leagues. And there's a big difference. And to me, sending him down is just kind of making him the scapegoat of a team in general that's just underperforming and just not very good. And I just don't really think it would benefit him. We're talking about 2 bad months. If we demote every 24-year-old who has 2 bad months, there's gonna be no players in the major leagues. If it were me, if I were Mackanin, Mackanin kind of has an old school theory of when guys are struggling, he likes to put them down in the lineup. I would do the opposite. I would get him preferably in the 2-hole because he needs to see fastballs. He's not seeing any fastballs right now. He has 0 protection. Batting him 6th, 7th is doing him a disservice. If you get Aaron Altair behind him, which is basically the only player in the Phillies lineup right now who strikes any fear into the opposing pitcher, he will see more fastballs and he will hit better. I guarantee you. He just needs confidence. He probably could use a talking to from Charlie Manuel. Manuel always seems to have the magic touch when it comes to stuff like this. That's about all I have to say.
All right, as the third wheel here, I'm actually on Tony's side, but I get where Kyle's coming from. It's kind of the same thing as Tony was saying. Now, this is kind of a point we made on a prior show about Franco, and it's interesting because, while he's hitting only 216, his exit velocity is 89.88. The average is 87.81. I forget what it was when we did the show a couple weeks ago, but it was he was top, 10, 15% in the league. Now you look at the launch angle, 9.99, average 12.96. So you look at the metrics, you would think maybe over time that batting average, it'll even itself out. And I got to keep playing him. Just let him kind of get out of this funk. It's only 2 months. See what he can do for the rest of the season. It's not like you got some hot shot prospect that's ready to take over or anything. It's Scott Kingery.
If he's going to turn into a good major league player, this will be a development process for him, a learning experience. if he can't come out of this, then that shows more than his ability.
But how long do we give him is the question. How long are we going to keep babying Maikel Franco and making it think like he could become a superstar or even a franchise player?
Personally, I'm giving him at least another 2 months. Because, with or without him, it's going to be slop on the field. It's not going to be fun to watch. So
yeah, let him work through it.
He just got.
We're not in position to win.
No.
Let him work through it. Maybe he won't ever get through it. But
now if he's batting 198 come, August 15th, then all right, then just have him call it a season, and you know what I mean. Just fake an injury for him and let him on his way. But to me, he still needs a lot of time.
Well, you know what the problem is? You have all this crap that you see on the field here at the major league level, and then you look what all the prospects are doing down in the lower levels, and that's why people are getting aggravated because of what they're doing, what they're producing. So when you see that, you kind of hope and think that there is talent down there that could be replacing a guy like Maikel Franco who's underperforming.
Right. But, again, there's a lot of factors that go into calling guys up. You don't want to discount the service time stuff. You don't want to bring a guy up 2 weeks before you could have, and then he gets to free agency a year earlier. You know what I mean? You got to look at the big picture. And, again, like we were saying, really – other than Hoskins and Kingery, there's not anyone that's blowing the door off. I mean,
not at third base.
Right, and Cousins has been coming around of lately. Nick Williams, I guess, had a hot week. But, everyone else is still kind of, coming around a little bit, maybe, sort of, but not, certainly not knocking at the door.
Yeah, that's the next thing I wanted to talk about. Now, we will get into a minor league show, deeper discussion eventually, maybe a couple weeks from now. I know the draft's coming up. We'll do something on that. But the question I have for you guys, I mean, you kind of talked about it already, but who's the player you're really keeping an eye on down there in the minor league system for the Phillies?
Like at a certain position or just overall?
Whoever. Who's the guy you got an eye on?
I have my eye on two guys, honestly, but mainly it's Rhys Hoskins because of what he really did last year in Double-A with Dylan Cousins, with this, they got nicknamed the Bash Brothers, and he's carried it over here to Triple-A. I mean, the guy is on fire. Now, the question you bring is we have Tommy Joseph here, okay? So he's kind of being blocked. Kind of like the same situation when we had Ryan Howard down in the bigs, when we had Jim Thome here. So I think they waited too long to bring up Ryan Howard. Do they make the same mistake with Rhys Hoskins? Is Tommy Joseph been playing well enough to where we decide to keep him and have a platoon? That's going to be the big question of what we do. But this guy proves that he can hit major league pitching. He's a major league hitter. I think he's going to be a stud at first base. He's going to be bashing 40 home runs a year.
Yeah, I think both of us mentioned Rhys Hoskins probably in April. He's always kind of been the guy that I think 3 years from now could very well be the best hitter on the team. He kind of doesn't really seem to have a weakness right now at the plate, knock on wood. It would be nice if Joseph was athletic enough to play left field or even third base. Same thing said with Hoskins. But it looks like both those guys are strictly first basemen. I'm still certainly not sold on Joseph by any means, but I think Joseph is showing enough where on a good team, if he's hitting 6th or 7th for you, that's not that bad because he could pop 25, 30 home runs out. And he's showing enough plate discipline. Outside of Hoskins, though, the one guy that I was keeping an eye on until he got hurt is Sixto Sanchez down in Single A. Kid's only 18 years old, but he'll probably be in Double-A in a couple months, maybe. We'll see how he keeps, if he keeps mowing Single A down. Like I said, he's hurt right now, but he'll be back soon. He is maybe the one pitcher in the organization where I would say you could project him as an ace.
What about Franco Stats? I think he has a chance to be an ace too.
And he's another guy. That's a good point. He's another guy. But he's also what 19.
They're very young, so it's
right. We're literally talking about teenagers here. But again, these teenagers, if they make it, they're going to be up in 2-3 years. I mean, they're going to be very young when they make their debuts. So those are the guys that, we were talking about high ceiling players, high ceiling prospects before. So those are the couple guys, but they're so low in the system where you really don't want to get too high on them yet until they at least get a taste of Double A. Once a player gets, Double A, then you could kind of see, because there's major league talent in Double A. It's just, there's not major league consistency in Double A.
Yeah. All right. We'll get all into that in a show later.
Yeah.
Because we just spit out way too much information, way too much free information, way too much lovely information. But it's all good. It's all good. It's all for the fans. It's all for the viewers. Our 20 viewers today for the show.
I need something to be positive about.
No one cares about the Phillies right now. All right. Now I got nothing else on the agenda. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
You had touched on it. The draft is a couple days away. It's harder. I know a lot of people don't really follow the MLB draft. I follow it somewhat. I'm not heavily as into it as I am the NBA and NFL because it's twice as long. It's like 40-some rounds. But it will be interesting to see what the Phillies do with how putrid they're playing. They're definitely going to lose over 100 games, I think, this year. I kind of thought they were going to win 70-some, but I think they're going to lose at least 110 games this year, maybe. Yeah. Maybe 105. But what are they going to do with that 8th pick? Are we going to see them chase an ace pitcher with the 8th pick as opposed to going after a bat, what they've been projected to go after in Keith Law's mock draft?
Yeah, I think, again, if you're a Phillies fan looking for positive things, like you were just talking about, they have the 8th pick in a few days, and it also looks like they're going to have the number 1 pick next year. So maybe, hopefully, there's a Bryce Harper type. There's not, but we could hope one magically grows somewhere, and who knows? Maybe they'll land. Hopefully, they land 2 All-Stars in a couple days and next year, because this team is headed towards 100 losses. It looks like.
And a lot of these pitchers that are coming out they're all high schoolers. So it's another long wait. It's not going to be a guy that gets into the system right away and is up in 2 years. It's going to be another long wait if we do go after a pitcher.
Yeah, it's going to be a long process.
Too long.
You got instead of saying trust the process, you got to say trust the prospects.
That's here. I like that.
Phillies. That'll be their slogan. Trust the prospects.
Trust the prospects. Let's hope they've done their due diligence and their work.
So that'll be a show, dude. Yeah, because that's going to be really fun. Well, we're definitely going to have to catch a AAA game because I know I think we've said this before. Kyle and I went to a game last year actually, but I know Tony's right there, right around the corner. So yeah, we definitely got to do that.
And they're a lot better this year too. I mean, they're raking at 36-16 this year, so they're really plumping.
$10 tickets. We were like 5 rows behind. Whatever. It was like $12.
Mm-hmm.
There's literally more talent on the AAA team than there is the Major League team.
Yeah,
it's not even.
We're going. We're gonna go. Well, yeah, this is happening, and we're gonna do a show from inside the ballpark.
I would definitely love to do that, man. This is like that team reminds me of the 08 team, just the way they hit the ball. They just rake.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely do that. We'll put that on the agenda. All right. Anyway, hey, we have 5 live viewers, so we're a quarter of the way of our goal of 20. So we're almost there. All right, we're gonna end this right now. Tony Del Grosso, Kyle Gaffner, I'm Adrian. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. I didn't think anybody would. Peace.
Later, guys.